apple cider vinegar. Now, I'm sure all of you have seen it on your feeds with people claiming it helps with weight loss, helps with blood sugar levels, helps with this, helps with that. But what's actually the truth? Let me know in the comments below if you've tried it and what your experience has been. My name is Ruthie and I'm a nutritionist. Today we'll be looking at the science, the hype and the mistakes that people make when it comes to apple cider vinegar, when it's actually useful and when it's completely useless. And make sure to stick around till the end as I get into little surprise twists along the way that typical videos leave out. So what is apple cider vinegar? Apple cider vinegar is essentially fermented apple juice, and people claim it helps with things like weight loss, helps with appetite suppressing, helps with blood sugar levels, helps with detoxes. Oh, detoxes really get me. As a nutritionist, I just hate the term. I just hate when people say consume something to detox, because your body is a 24/7 detoxing machine. If it does not do the job, then something is wrong. But if you want to know more about that, leave a comment below because that's a whole other topic in itself. Anyways, back to this. So there are a lot of people with influencers really pushing apple cider vinegar. And there've also been a lot of people saying, drink it in the morning, drink it before meals, drink it at night, and so forth. There's been a lot of tips that people have about this product. And the thing is, just because someone's pushing it does not mean you have to follow the train. Let that sink in. Because guess what? One of the biggest studies ever published on apple cider vinegar got retracted in 2025. And yet no one's really talking about that. Everyone's just being like, it's amazing, it's this, it's that. And so I'll get into the research, but let that sink in. What does the research say? So there is some evidence. Some small studies have been conducted which look at the impact of 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar per day across a span of 8 to 12 weeks. And the findings showed that there was a 1 to 2 kilogram decrease in weight, a small decrease in waist circumference, and moderately lower blood sugar levels. So there was some reduction, but it wasn't anything significant. Like, it's not some magic bullet. And going back to what I was talking about before in terms of that study, so the one that was retracted was one of the most cited, if not most cited, study on ACV in 2024. It was published in the British Journal of Medicine, Nutrition, Prevention and Health. So it wasn't some random thing. It was cited so much, but it was retracted, part of it, due to it being statistically incorrect. So that essentially means not everything you see online, just because it's popular, does not make it correct. The key takeaway from ACV is that it can blunt insulin spikes when consumed with carbs, and as a result, it can help with reducing appetite and also supporting metabolism. But as I mentioned before, it is not the main fixer. It's not a magic potion. It's like a band-aid. It just helps take care of the symptoms, but it does not help reduce fat in itself. Like, it doesn't help with the underlying cause underneath it all. And so let's have a look at when ACV will actually work, how to take it correctly, and any myths you might be believing which could actually be hurting you. When can ACV help? So in case I haven't mentioned it enough already, apple cider vinegar is a tool. It is not a magic potion that just gets rid of fat. It doesn't work that way. It's almost like Ozempic or GLP-1. So they are also tools that help with weight loss, but they do not cause the weight loss itself. And if you want to know more about Ozempic or GLP-1s, make sure to check out my video. Just type it in my channel, or it should be linked below. Anyways, back to ACV. So you need a foundation first, like for a house. So you need to have your diet in check, need to have regular exercise, good sleep, reduce stress, things like that. And then once you have your foundation, then you can build on ACV as an additional tool to help with your weight loss. So yes, from the research and everything, apple cider vinegar can help with glucose regulation, as it helps with reducing the digestion of carbs, which then causes a reduction in blood sugar spikes. And as a result, it can also help with reducing hunger to a degree, which can then also help with metabolic support, and as a result can help with weight loss. But as I mentioned before, you still need the foundational layer of the house in order to build said house. Like, you can't build a house without the foundation. And by no means am I against apple cider vinegar. Like, I've had a client before who's consumed apple cider vinegar in the morning after breakfast, and for about 2 months, and she did see a reduction in weight. But guess what? She had the exercise in place. She was eating right. She was getting enough sleep. She had all these foundational factors. And in addition to that, she was taking ACV. And so it is a bit of a question of, was it actually the ACV, or was it all her foundational practices that were helping with the weight loss? And now one can argue about that till the cows come home, but that's not really important. If it worked for her, it worked for her. And if it works for you, fantastic. But it's really important to have all the facts and know when it works for you, and also how to consume it correctly, which we'll get into next. How to consume apple cider vinegar correctly. And yes, I'm aware that it's not ACV, it's vinegar, but for the purpose of this conversation, it'll have to do. So there's a number of tips I usually give my clients, because especially when it comes to ACV, it's very important that you do follow the right procedures, because it can be quite bad if you don't. The first one is dosage, so 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. Do not go above that limit. Mix it in water to dilute it, maybe 200 ml, that's a good amount. And it's really important to do this because apple cider vinegar is essentially, it's like an acid. Like, you can use it to clean a drain, clean a sink. Not that you should, but you can. And since it is acidic, it can erode your teeth. It can erode your teeth enamel, which is very, very bad. Sensitivity, all that not fun stuff. And it can also cause irritation as it goes down because it is an acid. It can irritate your stomach, irritate your digestive tract, in the long term can cause more long-lasting problems, which you do not want. So always make sure you dilute it. The next one is to consume it with a meal, preferably the largest, so this should be your lunch. And I know that Western diets usually focus on a large dinner and also time constraints, but lunch should be your biggest meal. But if you can't do lunch, at least try to do a large meal, so you're not doing it on an empty stomach. So there's like a little buffer for the acid to go in, so it doesn't like directly affect your stomach. It's sort of like coffee in a way, like how they say like pad it with food before you consume your coffee. And this next one is for Bob in the corner over there. It's very, very important. Bigger does not always mean better. So if you think that you can consume more ACV to like supercharge it, it does not work that way. Consuming more can be very bad for you, can be very dangerous as well, because when you consume too much, it not only causes irritation, as I mentioned before, but it can lower potassium levels, which is not great at all. And the other thing is, if you're taking certain types of medications, it's always best to check with a doctor, as it can cause reactions if they aren't meant to be together. And as with all my content, especially when you are on a lot of medication, it's always best to check with a doctor, because this is general information. So the key takeaway in all of this is that ACV can help moderately with blood sugar spikes and weight loss, but it is super, super important to take it correctly. Do not take it straight. For the life of me, if that's one thing you're going to take away from this video, do not consume ACV straight, and it is not a magic potion. That's a key little message. I should put it up somewhere here. So yeah, make sure you have your healthy habits in place before you add in the extra supplement in a way. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Any questions, queries, anything you want me to make a video on later. And also, if you want any tailored nutrition advice, meal plans, or even generalized meal plans, make sure to shoot me an email in the email below, as I'm currently taking on more clients. So if that's something you're interested in, or interested in meal plans I'm also going to be publishing, send me a message. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you found this video useful. Wishing you all happy digestive systems. Until the next one.